Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Rayguns and Rocketships, vintage science fiction book cover art by Rian Hughes. And this is a really lovely, thick, 460 pages book of covers. Covers of lots of books. Now, it doesn't include every single cover of every single science fiction book, but it includes a lot of gaudy, sort of really unusual vintage retro ones. Book, I think, and I'm not certain exact dates cut off, but most seem to be 1960s, that sort of period, final cut-off. There's like not much or any 1970s. I didn't notice things like Terminal Beach comes to mind, J.G. Ballard. And also, of course, Bruce Pennington. I was slightly disappointed. I was really hoping for Bruce Pennington. I would love to see a big Bruce Pennington book, but that's by the by. Any of these, however, as always with these things, and I've just noticed it, lovely dent there. How many times you get books, they're always dented. It was sent well protected, so I don't know where it got dented, but that's life. So let's just take the cover off. You got there. I think it looks very nice. Actually, with the Kickstarter, you do get a few extra bits and pieces. You got this lovely bookmark, which is always very nice. I always love a bookmark. Got so many of them, but that one is a very nice one. And also you've got your name listed there, which is very nice. A long list and tucked away somewhere on there. But it's still absolutely the scientific thriller, a retro science fiction. Anyway, so you can see that very nicely done. And I don't know how many covers are included. Probably more than 460, because there's quite a lot of ones that have got like 10 or 9 on a page. So it's not just sort of one per page. Now that would be nice, but it's not. Also, there's a lot of like original artwork. It seems to be original artwork anyway, because it's got none of the blurb. So I can only assume it is the original artwork. It's got a nice introduction. You've also got some, I always think that these sort of things are always a bit of a waste. I personally, if I was doing a book, I would never include this sort of thing. I think pure, massive amounts of information, better than sort of big, still, each their own. That's why, of course, they have got some covers of things like, and I think that was probably 1970s, which is very odd, or was it 80s? Space Hounds of IPC. You know what, I've never really read E. Dr. Smith. I've got a couple of them, Triplanetary or something, and they're, yeah, best. Some people love them, and why not? I think it's just great, but it's got a great introduction, and there's a lovely references to various things like remainder shops and now bookshop in Charing Cross Road. I think there's been loads of those sort of shops, and I picked up some great books, and they, as it says here, for 50p, which is probably, yeah. But I love to sort of second-hand bookshops anyway. I'm always picking up these sort of reference books, but this one, like so, it's the only one. I like. I've got a couple other Kickstarter ones. They're Steve Ditko ones, but this one was probably my most expensive one. I'm not really super keen on it because the trouble is I always feel that sometimes they produce like a volume set of 500 and it's like limited and that's it. And suddenly you look for it online or something and it like be £2,000 to buy it later on. You might not hear about it. So it's slightly sort of, anyway, that's my opinion of it. Maybe other people will have completely, because of course these books wouldn't probably come out if it wasn't for things like Kickstarter. So you have to say it's a great thing, but sometimes if it's just limited to that little small group, I think it's just a pity because it does mean that you will get these sort of obscure books that only a certain number of people will get. But again, maybe I'm totally wrong on that, but it's got lots of lovely little covers there. And again, these, and it's weird when they actually show some of these pictures because of Fleetway Super Library, I think that's more a comic book, but you've actually got, obviously you can see that original artwork there. And you've got very small. It would have been nice if it had a bit, but it does mention things like Harlan Ellison there, the man with 9 lives. Honestly, I don't know that one, but it has got lots of these little tiny little covers, which is great. I love science fiction covers, sometimes more than the science fiction book itself. Not all. I mean, I've got lots of books, science fiction books that I love, and I've got terrible covers, and yet I love the books. And then I've got lots of books that have got brilliant covers, and they're awful, the stories. I mean, just, you know, you think, really? But it has got lots of old ones as well. Trip to Mars by Fenton Ash. Oh, does have a nice, I love that. It's always good, nice little touch. Bookmark there. Operation Satellite, and there's some really obscure stuff and some obscure, now not all of the authors are obscure. I mean, some perhaps there are other people as well, because it always got bracket, gives obviously, so it's got information there as well, which is always good, gives you obviously their real name as well. Obviously got Hydrosphere, I've never heard of it. Badger Books, I've heard of Badger Books, and it's got listed in obviously the details and also the artwork. Char Brill. Now I don't know, but they mentioned every one of them got like the artist. I suspect there might be some that they don't know, but still at the same time, Henry Fox. Oh, there's a lot of Henry Fox. So they grouped them obviously in there with the Intruders. And oh, actually also they've got this. I've got quite a few of these ones. Lion Annuals. Got the Lion Annuals as well, and that's an area that would be nice. They could bring out a book of all the annuals. Now there's an annuals guide that's very nice, but a massive book like this would be brilliant of all the annuals, as many as possible you can find. There must be people out there with huge collections of annuals. This one's Space Story Omnibus. Sometimes some of them. Oh, I've got that one. Whopper's Space Stories. And this, of course, you can tick them off as you find all that one I've got. I also love this. This is nice. Now, I don't consider that a wasted page in any shape or form because you've got the cover, the spines. So it's really nice. Of course, when you go into a bookshop, you quite often that's what you see. My favourite was one up at Fantasy Centre. That was absolutely brilliant up in Islington. Loved going there. It was always just a joy on a Saturday, pop up there and go buy a few books. I wouldn't say I bought vast amounts, but it was always fascinating. Always loved those like ace double sort of books, novels, whatever you would call. Now, quite a few of those recently have been turning up in my local shops, which is really odd. I bought a few of them as well. And they're sometimes really good stories. Sometimes the other stories not so good, but sometimes brilliant. Corridors of Time. Brain Ultimate. And these ones as well. These look, I mean, some of these you never see them. I've never seen Red Storm, Brain Palace. No idea. Curtis Books, apparently. Oh, he's got lots of, oh, they're all Curtis Books, these ones. Galactic Storm, Catalyst, Blue Gordon. Yeah, I wonder where that name. Beyond Zoster? Planet Thar. They were just silly, weren't they? They were something. Blue Peril. I mean, really? Just great. Typewriter in the Sky. I mean, who thought that cut? Oh, actually, I've had that one. Donald A. Willem. It's Flight into Space. Quite often when you're going through these books, this is the thing when you read The Thing from Another World. John W. Campbell. Now, of course, a lot of these have been printed in other forms as well. So you might have a book in another form. This one, Destination Mars, Hugh Walters. Wow. Authentic Science. Now, it doesn't have vast amounts, and it hasn't got New Worlds. Has it got New Worlds? I think it's got a few examples of New Worlds in here. Can't say, I can't remember. But Authentic Science, so you've got some of the magazines, of course, which is quite nice. Authentic Science Fiction Monthly, 61, oh, 62, 63, 64, 65. What's he got before that? Oh, let's have a look. Yep, let's go back all the way through. Oh, looks like they've got every issue, 31, 32, 33. Yeah, so you've got lots and lots of all the covers of authentic, if you're into authentic science fiction. No, that's strange. Maybe Science Fiction. Oh, it had must have had a different title. Science Fiction Monthly at that point. How weird. You got all the way through with that. Terror of Titan. Oh, Titbits. Titbits Science Fiction Comics. They've got comics as well, which is just great. I wonder if it was Titbits the magazine. So they produced Titbits Science Fiction Comics. Wow. Terror of Titan. The world in the year 1050. Well, I remember buying lots of those ones, C.S. Lewis. Quite often, a lot of these covers, and you still can find these. You can still find them in like Oxfams and all the shops. They're normally, 50, not 50 pence now, £1.99, 99p, depending on the shop you go to. But lots of these covers I've seen over the years. Silver Locust, Ray Bradbury one. And like I say, they do cover some sort of brief, without all the various blurb on it. These ones as well, Ray Bradbury. I love those ones. Far Out, Needle, Countdown, Silver Locust. Got obviously Silver Locust that earlier as well. Beyond Infinity. But it would be nice if they'd included more of these as well. Because I do like these sort of pages. Single page which shows all the spines. Corgi books. I remember buying loads of these. Ray Bradbury, J.T. McIntosh. 1 in 300. No idea. I'm certain it's a great story. Fights for Mars. Planet at War. Worlds Away. Some truly awful covers, but some true and brilliant covers. That one, Whispering Gorilla. Can't be that. What's that? David V. Reed. The whole dark continent is terrorised by a gigantic gorilla. A gorilla who is not a gorilla, but a man, no less. 1950, Sidney Pemberton. interesting. Shambhala. I don't. Oh, I love these ones. Actually, I saw that one. Oh, yeah, Mask of Cthulhu. I can never say that. That was a book fair I went to, and I thought, wow, Mask of Cthulhu. I was going to pick it up and thought, should I pick that up? And I've read it years ago, and I thought, no, I've read it. These ones I love. Best of Science Fiction, number 3. So you've got all these Best of Science Fiction 2. And actually, the disappointment in this book, and the book is brilliant. Absolutely, it's a masterpiece book. This is just like the other Rian Hughes. I've got a couple of his ones. The illustrations, 1950s, 60s. Why, oh why was there never a 1940s or 1970s one? I would love to see that. But still, they're brilliant books. Worth getting. But they've got these sort of covers. And I love the 60s ones. That's why it was a slight disappointment. I don't think they've got like the New Worlds. And I would love to have seen all the New Worlds listed. Maybe they couldn't. I don't know. Isaac Asimov through a glass clear. Lots of these 60s ones you can still find. And I love 1960s science fiction covers. They had some weird covers. And I've got lots of like the analogue magazines. And I especially love the, I don't know what they're called, the bigger ones, bigger format. I love those. They had some great covers as well. Lord of Thunder. Now, I don't know, some of these, I'm not certain if they're all paperbacks. Most of them look like paperbacks. But some, I'm quite certain, and maybe I'm wrong, that some of them are hardbacks. It doesn't say. It would have been nice if it put a little listing saying Outpost of Jupiter, XYZ, that it's a science fiction story. Now, I would guess from glance, 1964 might have been hardback. I'm just assuming that. But some of these clearly are sort of very poor quality paperbacks. This one, Starman or something. Not all. The way it's laid out is slightly odd. And I as yet have worked out the approach they've gone for. Obviously, you've got lots later, they got the 1960s, 67. And again, some of J.G. Ballard's not really mentioned here. The Moon Winners, Night of the Big Heat, brilliant. Expedition to Earth, R.C. Clarke. Yeah, but I love some of these ones. And I bought quite a few of these sort of covers, the old Penguin ones. Judgment of Eve, Berserker, Davy, Traps of Time, Star Child. And this is the thing, when you go through these sort of books, you say, oh, that one, and I've got that one somewhere. 1984 with the eye, that's a weird looking cover, but it's just, and also that one, I had that one, Brave New World, Aldous Huxley one. When was that? 1961. But this one, Worlds Without End, lots of these are paperback. But they're just the 60s covers we're trying, and I wish they'd done more with the 60s covers. Because you got that one, look at that Restory one, just brilliant. And these ones as well, I'm not going to, I'm saying 60 is the cut-off, 1969, that isn't, because you've actually got here some 1970s ones. So 1971, 1970, you've got Larry Niven, Clifford C-Mac, and then you've got Asimov, I had all those ones, Stars Like Dust, the last page you've got Foundation Empire, End of Eternity, and I love those covers, they were very red. That's what I remember them being very red, as if they really threw in but they were all photographs, but done in a weird sort of, you can see there, sort of distorted way. I love that sort of stuff with like numbers and sort of as if I don't know how they did it, but it still was always pretty impressive. I always enjoyed it. And also you've got here this afterward as well, Mushroom Cloud at the back, which weirdly mentions Captain Marvel there. It's got Captain Marvel, which I suppose it's an L. Miller one, but it says Fawcett publication, so it isn't an L. Miller one though. Why did they include that? But you have got like Vision, and that's why it's a pity, New Worlds, that they didn't get, but maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason they didn't include those. I don't know. But I love this book. I absolutely think this is a must-have for anyone that loves science fiction, especially science fiction covers. You will really, really want to get this book as soon as this comes out in normal channels. Or if you've got, of course, the Kickstarter, I'm certain you've just got your copy. I was over them. Suddenly I got a knock on the door. I thought, I don't remember ordering anything. What? And suddenly it's a package. I thought, oh, and I've completely forgotten about it. So it's been ages and ages. Been looking forward to it for ages. And it's finally come. And I thought, yes, it is a real nice quality book. Really, really decent all the way through. I love it. It's beautiful. Other than the mid-dent again. I don't know where that happens. Maybe, I'm not certain. Anyway, doesn't matter. I've got so many books that have got dents in that I get to the point where I just shrug my shoulders whenever I see that. But I do love Korero Press. I don't know how it's said. Korero? Korero. Great site, really brilliant books. Got quite a few now. I love they've got lots of like art ones, artist books, and they're just great, brilliant. But this, and they also out Rian Hughes. Like I said, that one, lifestyle illustrations of the 60s and 70s. Oh, 50s and 60s, I mean. Yeah, I love those ones. You've got custom lettering of the 20s, 30s. I've never bought those. I imagine they're probably quite good as well. Logo a go-go, that sounds interesting. Soho Dives, Soho Divas, that sounds good. Anyway, can't get everything, I guess. But this is brilliant, totally recommended. Let's just show the cover again. Rayguns and Rocketships, vintage science fiction book cover art. Brilliant, brilliant book.